How much the United States depends on Canadian energy. This video I have made to give my countrymen the idea how dependent US is for her energy needs on Canada. Canada and the United States share one of the closest and most integrated energy relationships in the world. The depth of this integration is not widely known, but it affects everything from daily electricity supply in US border states to the fuel Americans use in their cars, homes, and industries. Canada produces far more energy than it consumes. This surplus becomes a vital export to the United States, which relies heavily on Canadian oil, natural gas, electricity, and propane. Let us examine each category to understand the scale. Crude oil. Canada is the largest foreign supplier of crude oil to the United States. More than 3 million barrels per day of Canadian oil cross the border, representing over 90% of all Canadian oil exports. This oil primarily comes from Alberta's oil sands, Saskatchewan, and offshore Newfoundland. The US relies on this supply to fuel transportation, industry, and heating. Interruptions in Canadian oil flow would immediately affect prices and availability in northern and central US states. Natural gas. Canada is also a major exporter of natural gas. Annual exports exceed 90 billion cubic meters, supplying US power plants, industries, and heating systems. Northern US states, including Minnesota, Michigan, and New York, are particularly dependent on Canadian natural gas during cold winters. Pipelines cross the border in multiple locations, creating a tightly interconnected energy network. Electricity. Canada exports approximately 35 to 40 terawatt hours of electricity each year to the United States. Hydro from Quebec and British Columbia, nuclear from Ontario, and some wind and thermal electricity help stabilize US regional grids. This electricity supports critical industries, residential consumption, and emergency grid backup in states near the border. Propane or LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, is another key component. Canada produces 12 to 14 million tons annually, with the United States importing a large portion to meet heating and agricultural needs. Northern US states in particular depend on Canadian propane for winter heating and industrial applications. Recently, Canada has also begun exporting propane to Asia, but the United States remains a major customer. Strategic integration. This level of energy integration creates a unique interdependence. While Canada relies on the US for refined petroleum products and some electricity balancing, the US depends on Canada for stable supply, price moderation, and energy security. Pipelines, rail transport, and electricity transmission lines form a network that binds the two nations. Geopolitical significance. Energy is not just economic, it is geopolitical leverage. Canada's ability to supply the United States with oil, natural gas, electricity, and propane gives it strategic influence and strengthens North American energy security. It also provides Canada with economic benefits in terms of revenue, jobs, and infrastructure development. Conclusion. The United States depends on Canadian energy for oil, gas, electricity, and propane. This interdependence makes Canada a strategic energy powerhouse. Canadians should recognize that their nation's energy production is not only a source of domestic prosperity, but also a critical component of continental stability and global influence.